tonight I was gonna do like a full recap of the game and talk about the enemies and all sorts of crazy stuff, and then I realized, wait a minute, some DLC is coming out in like 5 days, 6 days. So, kind of shifted the episode to kind of cover some of the Resident Evil release stuff, and then Ghost Survivors, possible future DLC, possible Resident Evil 3 remake, stuff like that. We'll do more of a recap on the game with enemies, stuff like that on future episodes, but I mean, we've only got a couple days before the DLC comes out. If you guys like the stream tonight, make sure you click on that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new. Share it with your friends. Tweet about it. Speaking of tweeting about it, let me tweet about it. Boom, tweet it. This show runs through the chat, so make sure you guys interact in the chat and try to stay on the subject of what we're talking about, so that when I look down at my chat, it relates to what you see up here on my screen. And see the date there, January 25th, 2019. You guys aren't going to believe this. That date is actually over. That means the game has been out for a couple weeks. We've all played it. Most of us have played it. We love it. It's a lot of fun. And I asked you guys to tweet me your reviews. We'll go over some of that stuff later as well. I will figure out how to make my slideshow work, since we haven't done this in a little while. You can interact on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All those are blowing up. And if you follow us on YouTube, a lot of content on Instagram and Twitter that you don't get on YouTube, because I can't make a video about everything. And some of the shorter videos I post only on social media. If you want to join the Zom Squad, you get the custom emojis like these guys in here with the hedgehogs and everything. And it's really cool because your name stands out, and then I can see your name. Like Rob Woods just jumped in, I can see that. He said Barry. And let me give you my credentials. I've got some credentials here. So I've played the game. I've beaten the game 16 times or so. I've gotten an S+ on everything. I got the platinum on everything. I'm not just like watching other people's videos and taking their ideas. I'm in this game. I've been playing this game like nonstop. We do it live, so if you guys like watching live, we do play the game live. And while we're playing, it's more chat based, I think, than a normal stream, because we want to talk about the videos that we do. If you want to check out my videos, where'sbarry.com takes you straight to YouTube. We did videos, walkthroughs on things, how to get infinite ammo, all the Easter eggs, and we really don't have time to even cover all that in this show because of the DLC coming out. Not really humble brag, more like I didn't do this easily. Like, I died a million times. It was ugly. The times aren't great. I'm just trying to show you guys that I actually play the game as well. A lot of, like, I watch video on IGN and these other channels, and you can tell that the person played the game once and they don't even know the story or anything. But the other thing that helps this channel is not me and playing the game, it's you guys in the comments on all the videos. Basically, like, the whole Resident Evil community kind of comes together and forms different theories and ideas, and just really helps out the video content and helps out this show in particular. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff that you guys had sent to me and stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's start the show! Let me just listen to the audio here. Alright, it's a little quiet, but that's okay. Hedgehog's a little quiet today. Alright, let's get going. So, like I said, highly interactive show. Which version or platform did you buy the game? A lot of people that I know from, because this is a Resident Evil channel, we got a lot of collectors, we got a lot of obsessed fans. How many of you guys bought more than one copy of the game? If you guys know, we were actually given the copy early from Capcom. We got special permission to live stream it like 7 hours early, and then I fell asleep, so we really did it like 5 hours early. So they sent me that copy. I have a copy from my collector's edition, and then I also bought a third copy on PC. So even though I got the free copy from Capcom, I still bought 2 other copies. Not to support Capcom, because I wanted to play, or I didn't buy I wanted the collector's edition, I wanted to play on PC. It's not like, oh, they deserve more money because the game is awesome. No, I wanted to play it more times. But a lot of you guys collect the games. Cassius got it on PS4, Caligula PC, Jacob PC primary, PS4 secondary. Danny bought the collector's edition. Deadman's got the deluxe edition. And so here's the thing about PC. I hate PC gaming. I've spent 16 hours just trying to get my game to look good. And I think I might have kind of finally figured it out, but only for like recording video, and live streaming would be different quality. Anyway, it drives me crazy. But the quality of the screenshots on the PC version is just, the graphics are clearer. I mean, I just know this from zooming in, and then the settings that it lets me change allows me to get even better screenshots. So as a casual gamer, I would not need it on both systems. But as a channel person who loves screenshots for social media, by the way, we're at thousands of people on Instagram and Twitter now. I think we hit 2,000 on Twitter. Yep, 2,000 on Twitter. And 1,600 on Instagram, which is crazy, but the screenshots. And then the other thing you can do on PC is different mod stuff, and a lot of people are sending me comments that they're cheating and they're using the trainer and they're adding infinite ammo and unlocking the trophies, and so that's kind of, I guess, a benefit of PC gaming as well. We did the first-person mod. I don't know if you guys are familiar. There's a first-person mod. It's not that great. I mean, it's cool the way they did it, but it doesn't have a lot of replayability. But it's cool, and we kind of made me think, what if Capcom actually adds a real first-person mode to the game? Grand Theft Auto did something like that. They added a first-person mode later. It added, like, people bought the game because of that and added replayability and stuff like that. So, I actually did get the collector's edition, like I said, and I didn't even really open it yet. So let's just do a quick impromptu unboxing of the collector's edition so I can show you. And after we're done this, we're going to talk about Resident Evil, the sales of Resident Evil. We're going to talk about the ratings of Resident Evil. We're going to talk about Resident Evil 3 Remake. And then we are going to talk about Ghost Survivors and possible future DLC. But I really wanted to do this first, so let's shift over and teleport to this other office in the RPD, the conference room. Right here, we got our zombie friend over there, and let's do a quick unboxing. I will show you guys what comes in the collector's edition if you did not get it, and we'll just open it up real quick. So we've got Leon. He comes in this box here. And he comes in pieces, so there's the bottom. And he's got a little gun here that's easy to lose. I don't even know how to put it on. And he basically just sticks on there, so it's easier than I thought. And he's actually going to hang out here on the show forever. He might be visible when we... Oh yeah, he came with a little flashlight too. came with the soundtrack. You can download it on the computer, not a CD. This is going straight in the trash. I guess maybe I'll give it to someone. This is a concept art book. Came with the deluxe edition of the game. You can actually switch out the cover for Claire, I think, if you open this up. This is closed. We might be doing a giveaway for sometime soon. Comes with that poster. It's folded in 100 squares. It's going to look terrible on the wall. It's not going to look flat because it's not rolled. It's folded, but I guess that's what we got. And that was the item box that it comes with, which is just a really thin. It's not even a good cardboard. It's like really thin cardboard. So it's not super amazing. So yeah, that's the collector's edition there. I didn't want to do a full unboxing video, so I wanted to just throw it in there real quick and show you guys. So let's go back to our other office in the RPD and watch out for Mr. X Hedgehog. And let's talk about the game and the sales and stuff like that. So basically, Resident Evil 7 did pretty well. It sold 2.5 million copies in the first week. Resident Evil 2 Remake sold 3 million. I was actually expecting that discrepancy to be higher, but if you do remember, Resident Evil 7 had an extra buzz because there hadn't been a good Resident Evil 7 game in years. And the E3 and the demo of that, like the Resident Evil 2 number, I think is a regular number, and I think the Resident Evil 7 number is actually kind of generated from the marketing and the demo that they did. So they did a really good job to market and sell Resident Evil 7, I personally think. And this is the sales figures and rankings for Resident Evil games, not including when they sell the game again. So like Resident Evil 5 actually has 10 million sales total because they sold it on different platforms and stuff like that. It was on PS4, whatever. This is all for like the same generation sales. And you can see Resident Evil 2 already is up there in the top, and it's only been 1 week. So we're kind of expecting that number to move kind of up towards ahead of Resident Evil 7 at least by a year. Resident Evil 7 is selling amazing. It's just like keeps selling. Like people keep buying it across like as time goes on. It's kind of interesting. We'll see if Resident Evil 2 has that. I think Resident Evil 7 has more of a like 2 is just gonna be like up there for like months, and then it might dip, and then it might jump up again if it wins like Game of the Year or something. But Resident Evil 7 is kind of just going flat out there. But these are those kind of numbers there, and this is the actual numbers. So as you can see, Resident Evil 5, I said 10. It's actually 12 million. Resident Evil 6 sold 10 million. Resident Evil 4, 8. And the original Resident Evil 2 is 6. Resident Evil 7 actually hit 6.1. So like I said, it's going to pass Resident Evil 2, the original. Resident Evil 1, and then you can see on there as well, the Resident Evil 2 Remake at 3 million. It's down there. It's going to jump up considerably. And I love this list here because, I mean, you guys want them to remake Outbreak. Look all the way at the bottom. How much money 2 Outbreak, or how many copies 2 games. That's not just one game. That's both games combined together, and they didn't even sell 2 million. So the Outbreak series is probably very, 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 very low on their list. I would have said the same about Resident Evil 3. We'll actually talk about that in a little bit. Reviews of the game were good as well. So the sales are good, the reviews are good. This is the site I like to look at the most, the Metascore, where it takes all, it's like the Rotten Tomatoes score kind of. It takes all the people, and you can see the user and the critics all gave it around a 9.1 out of 10. So that's very good ratings. Resident Evil 7, I believe, was down maybe 87, 88, something like that, but very close. And this, a lot of different people, gave it, 10 out of 10s. And I asked you guys on Twitter, and you guys can tell me here in the chat right now, what were your ratings out of, you can do it out of 10 or out of 5. We usually do it out of 5, and we do it with emojis, so just show us your emojis, and, put them all up on the screen, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Here's some of the people from Twitter. And whenever you're doing a comment, be creative, because these were picked out because they were creative ways to rate it. But most people gave it a very good score. And again, we're in the Resident Evil community, so there's kind of a bias towards Resident Evil. So a lot of people gave it a 5. Some of the issues people have with it is the repetitiveness. And it's actually kind of funny. If you guys remember the IGN review that got a lot of, everybody was laughing at IGN. The guy played the game. He didn't finish. He played it incorrectly. He played Claire A and then Leon first run, Claire first run. And he was like, it's very repetitive and blah, whatever. And everyone's like, you idiot, you didn't play the full game. Then we all played the full game, and I look at that review and I go, even though he didn't play it correctly, he foresaw that how repetitive it was. And I actually made a chart that I don't have ready for us now. I'm going to tweet that later. That just basically shows you how much percentage of the game is just copied from each other. Because Claire A and Claire B are like 90% the same. And then Leon and Claire differences, it's like 50% the same. So other than that, though, the game, I think it's an amazing game. So I don't care about that repetitive thing, because as long as there was one story where you play it all the way through, that was fun. I think it's awesome. I'm kind of addicted to it. Let's go into the chat. Captain Jabber gives it a 4.5. Juan gives it 4.5 Claire Butts. Randall gives it a 10 out of 10. Ice Wolf gives it 4 tacos. Axon gives it 4 Crimson Heads. Nate says 4 out of 5. Haley gives it an 8 out of 10. Glenn, 10 out of 10. Tanner, 4 out of 5. So you guys, you guys know, you guys have really been enjoying the game, I think so, according to Twitter and everything. It's kind of funny that Red Dead Redemption sold 17 million copies in its first week. Remember, we showed you that Resident Evil 2 Remake sold 3 million, so 14 million more people bought Red Dead Redemption, and I don't hear a lot about Red Dead Redemption anymore. So that's very interesting that Resident Evil 2 kind of jumped up there, and also Kingdom Hearts, I believe, came out, and people are talking about that as well right now. But it's crazy how the Red Dead Redemption stuff kind of dropped out. But that game, like that, it's unbelievable. When you say Resident Evil 2 Remake is awesome, it did, 3 million in the first week. You're thinking, wow, that's great. And then you look at the freaking Rockstar Games, 17 million. And so anyway, what do the good ratings mean? What do the good reviews mean? What do the good sales figures mean? It means we can start thinking about Resident Evil 3 Remake. And now, Resident Evil 2 Remake has only been out for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, so we're not going to go in depth on this. We're going to have a specific special episode on Resident Evil 3 Remake down the line in a couple weeks. So we're not going to spend too much time on it right now. But let's go into some of the reasons why we're getting a little bit more excited early. This basically what happened. This guy Dusk Golem, he's a very credible source. He's on Reset Era. That's his main platform. He's on Twitter and everything. And I know for 100% a fact he talks to people at Capcom. I'm not going to tell you why I know or how people know this, but I know that he has spoken to people at Capcom. He's a very credible source. He's not always 100% right because he just gets ideas, and some of the ideas are turned off. But he said, this is what one of his quotes were, "I'm keeping my lips sealed on anything else, so don't ask, but Remake 3 is in full development right now." So when I personally read that, a very skeptical person, I kind of feel like he is onto something, and I'm kind of feeling his level, because originally I thought they're never going to remake Resident Evil 3 because of these numbers I showed you. And it only sold 3.5 million, and why don't they remake 4? Because that's already sold 8. They could sell like so many more copies of 4. And then I thought, what if Resident Evil 2 Remake is good, the Resident Evil 3 that they're going to sell, they're not going to do what they did with this one. So this one, they said, this is just like your old favorite game, Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 3, they're going to be like, it's a sequel to the remake of 2. Instead of like being like nostalgia, they're going to make it, I think, more directly like a sequel, even though it is a sequel, but that's kind of the marketing they'll go with, and I think that's going to actually work, because if they just said Resident Evil 3, people are going to be like, well, we never bought that as a kid, the casual gamer, not you guys. But if it ties to the second one, I think I believe this fully. And by the way, on this sheet here, you can see right here, this guy is a complete phony, Evil VR. Basically, he took Dusk Golem's thing and then just made up a bunch of stuff based on that. I've been following him for 1 year. Everything he posts is fake. He'll delete the posts after they're wrong. He says grain of salt a lot because he's seen other people do it. But if you guys believe Evil VR, then we cannot be friends, because I've vetted it. It is not a valid source, and it's all a bunch of fake stuff. He's also on Reddit under a different name, but I won't say that name either. But yeah, I did the research on it, and do not believe that account ever. They just take things from theory videos of mine and Residents of Evil and other people, and then create like these things that sound like they're really true. But you just look at the tweet of the Resident Evil 7 or 2 remake spoilers and how wrong they were. And then the excuse on the website was, whoa, well, sometimes they're wrong. No. For the first guy, Dusk Golem, yes, sometimes things could be wrong because they were changed. But for the other one, anyway, rant over on that. That's the last we were talking about that. And so here's some real stuff, not just rumor mill or behind the scenes. It's the producer, is it producer? I don't know. The developer of Resident Evil, this guy, We Do It. He told this to Game Watch, which is kind of a website in Japan or China or something. And he basically just said, if the fans want Resident Evil 3 remake, then it starts there, like the fans. So I know you guys probably watched the Residents of Evil video talking about this quote. A lot of people keep coming into my chat going, it's confirmed because I saw a video online. You guys need to like actually watch videos and listen to what they say, not just look at a picture and then think everything's confirmed. That's called Barry-splaining. That's when I Barry-splain things to you. But anyway, so the Dusk Golem quote with this quote, I'm kind of thinking there's a good chance we could see something like that. By the way, welcome Scott, Big Captain, Kai, Rip. Thank you guys for subbing. Jay Vahala, Mateus, Sin, Ramel. We are over 35,000 subscribers now, which is in craziness. And that will lead us into this week is Ghost Survivors week, because on Friday, this game will come out. Ghost Survivors. It is free DLC. It might even just come in an update. I don't even think you'll have to go and download it. I think when you start Resident Evil, it'll say, do you want to update to the newest version? And it'll just be in there. So it's free, and it comes out Friday. What does Friday mean? This is what Friday means, what we've learned in the United States, at least. Everything that came out, the demo and the game, all got jumbled up on the... maybe the game didn't exactly. The demo and something else. They all got jumbled up on the PlayStation Store in the United States, and they weren't released on time. Oh, it was the preload. It wasn't released on time. So Friday, typically, I think... I can't remember. It either means 3 a.m. Eastern or like 10 a.m. the next day. Or, well, the same day, but, you know, when you wake up is like the time that store updates or something. So in the United States, you might not be able to play this until Friday morning / afternoon, as opposed to like at midnight where some other things are. But we don't know. We're not exactly sure how that's going to work. That's just based on the things that came out so far that ran a little late. And what is Ghost Survivor? So this is what Resident Evil's official account told us about Ghost Survivor. It says, explore what-if stories of 3 unfortunate souls, Ursula, who never made it out of Raccoon City. Could things have played out differently? Find out as you fight for survival. So this quote doesn't tell you much. It says you're fighting for survival. You know, what are we in, Rocky? But it does say they're what-if stories. So what-if stories means that they are not canon stories. They're just going to be fun games to play. So the story, if there is a story involved, it's not going to be important to the full storyline, but I would really like to see the stories involved. So during this portion of the show, just leave some comments about what you think it might be in there and what you'd like to see. Again, we're going back to Dust Golem because this is actually not his inside info. This is just a translation from the show that they did in Japan where they announced it. I watched the show. I don't understand Japanese, but this is kind of the bullet list. Randomized elements. Don't know if that's going to be random enemies or what. An in-game shop. And no, it's not going to be microtransactions or buy. It's going to be like, I think like Revelations. You like earn points and then buy things with your points. Something like that. I don't think you're not going to be really buying things with actual money. It's like probably in-game something. Oh, maybe the merchant will come back for this game. That would be cool. Actually, it'd probably be Kendo in his gun shop or something. I don't know. Anyway, replayability. This is the secret thing that they were talking about all development long. If you guys followed this channel, we've been talking about it since June or July or whenever they announced. They said there's going to be a special mode with so much replayability. And we're all guessing, what's it going to be? We did like 5 videos. Is it going to be Nemesis mode? Is it going to be Battle Royale? I don't think we ever guessed that. But so they say replayability, and the randomized elements might lead into that because if you guys played randomized mode for Resident Evil 1 Remake, which was made by this awesome designer named Ben Powell, it was incredible. It was the greatest mod ever made, and it made that old game. That's really one of the top games of all time, I think. And it made you want to play it again for hours and hours. It was incredible. So randomized enemies might do something like that. 3 volumes. So they're going to do 3 characters, 3 stories on Friday. But there might be 3 sets of 3. So there might be 9 total. So that's interesting if they're going to release 3 volumes, maybe a month apart or something. Just bringing people back, replay. We're going to cover all that on this channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's an alternate reality, like I said. It said what-if stories. This is like not going to be canon. And there's a brand new enemy. We'll talk about that in a minute, but we've got 3 characters: Umbrella Soldier, Mayor's Daughter, Gun Shop Owner. And if you notice something about these characters, they're all dead. So let's say they did 9. It's going to be based on dead characters. They call them the Ghost Survivors because they're not going to be ghosts, but they're going to be like they are dead. It's like a metaphor or something, I'm guessing. And we're thinking they're all just going to be different characters that are no longer with us. And we've got names for them too. So Kendo, Robert Kendo, he runs the gun shop. If you guys played Resident Evil 2, the original, he's in the very beginning of the game. He is one of the greatest characters ever in the original. They ruined him in this one. Well, they didn't ruin him, but they could not pull off the original Kendo in this one. And he dies and zombies eat him in the first one. In the second one, why don't I just show you what happens? Let me press this button. Hopefully it goes full screen, and you'll see how Kendo's ends his time.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
I said don't move.
I'm just passing through. I'm gonna ask you to lower that weapon.
I tell you what, you gotta turn around and go right back out the way you came in.
I think your daughter needs help, sir.
Don't tell me how to deal with my daughter.
Drop it.
No! Wait!
Step aside. We need to terminate her before she turns.
Terminate. It's my fucking daughter.
Ada. Just let them be.
Emma? Sweetheart, I told you to stay put.
Daddy?
Daddy's here. Okay. Those fucking things outside. What they did to us. You're a cop. You're supposed to know something. How did this happen? Huh? She was our sweet little angel.
Mommy?
I was sleeping, honey. Okay? And I'm gonna put you to bed too, okay? Emma. Just go. Just give us some privacy.
You know, it's one thing to keep the truth from me, but why him?
So I don't know why that sounded like a door closing in this. I swear it sounds like a gun. Anyway, so Kendo either killed himself or killed his daughter or both. And the way that I see it, and I don't know if you guys have a different idea, but these ghost survivor stories are going to start from where the character died. So I think Kendo's probably going to start in that room where he went in. And they've given us a couple screenshots. So you can see here, in these screenshots, Kendo is actually fighting these guys in the Birkin area. So a lot of people, one of the questions everybody has is Ghost Survivors going to have new areas? Because we're sick of these areas. We've been in them 1,000 times since all 4 scenarios are the same. It looks like so far from the screenshots they're using same areas, but we'll have to find out, I guess, for sure. But it's not looking good for that. As for that scene there, I wish they would have showed like the girl when she was alive, so there was more of an emotional connection to her. Because it was just like it's a girl and her dad. It's a nice little micro thing, but I would have liked to see a little bit more of that. But sure, from a movie standpoint, it's more emotional than Sorry About That Babe. But Sorry About That Babe is, what do you guys call it? You say it's lit. So it's the greatest. It's the greatest ever. Besides Barry. Where's Barry? Sorry About That Babe is up there. So here's Kendo. He's fighting a zombie off. It looks like it's going to be the same kind of, third person, over the shoulder type thing. Same kind of enemies and stuff. And remember we just talked about how there's going to be a new enemy? Well, it might be poisonous zombies. This is the other screenshot. And you can see that purple coming out of the zombie head. If you remember the G monster, when he bites your face, he'll spit the purple on you. Purple is the poison color here. And so it looks like there's going to be some poison zombies added in. And I don't know if they've ever done this before, but have they ever taken a DLC item and then added that into the actual game, like later? Like, could they add a mode where they add different enemies? I guess I doubt it. Super Mario says no spiders. We still don't know. They might add other enemies, but if purple zombies are the new enemy, it's very much like Resident Evil 7 where all the enemies were the same. And I was just doing a quick list, and Resident Evil 2 Remake, there's only zombies, Ivy, dogs, and lickers, and G's. There's like only 5 types of enemies in this. There were only 3 in Resident Evil whatever. And then they added new ones in Resident Evil 7 and Not a Hero, but they were just the same mold, and now they were white and they were smoking or something. So we think it's confirmed that there's a new enemy unless there was a poor translation, because Capcom had a press conference about this. It was just only in Japan, and then they didn't really follow up on it, so it's weird. Yeah, there's a lot of enemies missing, and we're gonna do a whole show about the enemies and the zombie mechanics. Because my favorite part of the game is the zombies, because they are like ragdoll. I think they did incredible. I would personally be happy if every enemy was just a zombie. I don't care about the dogs and the lickers and the other things. The zombie mechanics are so cool. How you can shoot off the limbs, everybody knows that. But the way that they jump over the desks, that was cool. But if you guys have unlocked the unlimited rocket launcher, that's where the fun aspect of the zombies comes in. Because instead of just blowing them up, it flings them across the screen like a rag doll, and they go flying, their limbs are flying, and it's just really, really... I just love what they did with the zombies. They made like 8 or 9 different kinds of them, so I kind of feel like that's 8 or 9 different kind of enemies, even though they all have the similar like stuff. But yeah, what other enemies would you like to see in the DLC? I'm hoping it's not just they've just made poison zombies or like poison dogs or whatever, but that might be what they did. They might have just kind of did a slight change there. But yeah, the moth was missing from the original. The spiders, the roaches were not do not attack you in this one. I guess they're technically in the game. The crows, that's the other one people are worried about. By the way, after Kendo dies there, you can hear a crow cawing in that one area. For some reason, there's just a crow cawing, so that's a little bit weird. And I'm wondering, maybe a crow would be an enemy in the Kendo part. And we don't know if the poison zombies would be across in every character, if each character is going to be a different. Are they going to all have their own weapons and their own style and stuff, or are they all just going to be just in different areas? And there's just a zoom in, and that's not like a mess up. That's a zombie breathing purple smoke. So this is definitely a new enemy for the DLC for Kendo at least. Here's the second one. It's called Runaway, starring Catherine, the mayor's daughter. Now, her story in the original game is that her dad, the mayor, got scared and left town and left her behind, and like Irons was supposed to be watching her, like, I'm going out of town, you watch my daughter. And then Irons watched his daughter, all right. And then in this game, so in the original game as well, when you're going past the helicopter that you have to move, you hear a scream, and that's her getting stabbed or whatever. You could see blood on her in the original game. In the new game, she's just laid out on a table, and Sherry finds her. And actually, let's just watch it. So she's clearly been strangled by irons or whatever to turn blue, I guess, or she's already stuffed with formaldehyde or whatever it was put inside of her or on her to keep her preserved or whatever from Irons' crazy experiments here, or taxidermy, whatever. So we're thinking she's going to start on this table, and instead of being dead, she's going to wake up and be like, oh, now I'm a ghost survivor. So Irons was actually in the back there, if you guys remember from the game. Here is they've got a couple screenshots for us. This is one of them here, where she is going down the orphanage hallway. This is the hallway right by where she was. So it looks like she's going to start right, like I said, and then come out the orphanage. And here's the other one. This is outside the orphanage as well. That's the bus you go through. And she has a gun, so she's not going to be like a helpless, victim or whatever. She's actually going to have at least a gun to go with. So this one and Kendo are the ones I think people are most excited about playing. And in the new game, I can't remember off the top of my head. I didn't like memorize all the files yet, but like Irons kid, I guess the title of the thing is The Runaway, so I guess she ran away from home and Irons kidnapped her or something like that. And we might find out, again, not official story, but we might find out more about, how she got kidnapped or whatever in this game. That would be, again, I'm hoping they do like cutscenes and stories, and a lot of people are hoping they just give you 1,000 machine guns and shoot people. So I feel like there's some kind of a balance there. The third one is called Forgotten Soldier, and it's an Umbrella secret something. Secret security. Umbrella security secret? Secret security? I don't know. Security services. Umbrella security services. Soldier. And these are the guys that came in there on Birkin. So let's just quickly take a look at them and what they did in the game, or what we saw from them. And this is a guess. I'm assuming it's these guys. If you guys know better, you can let me know.
Oh, please, stop. Stop. No.
Over here, you freak!
Don't hurt him.
So we might be playing the game as A. Kirkpatrick, who is the guy who actually had the tape there and was killed by Birkin. The other tape we get in the game shows Martinez jumping down, and Martinez shoots Birkin when he's not supposed to. So, by the way, we're over 500 people right now, so if you guys are enjoying it, don't forget to click the like button so we can get up to 200 likes today. And click on that subscribe button, and we will be doing the show. It's not a weekly show right now because there's a lot of stuff going on, but it'll be either bi-weekly or at least monthly. And the next episodes, we're going to talk about different theories about Mr. X and about what happens in this DLC and going forward, and also Resident Evil 3 Remake, all sorts of stuff. So that's just one of the things we do on the channel. The other things, we play games, but that's just to talk about the same thing we're doing now, but we're playing a game. And we do videos on walkthroughs and Easter eggs and theories, so check out the channel if you haven't. Here are the screenshots of this character here. And you can see he's in the elevator in this one. I believe that's looks like to be near the where the that boss fight with Birkin was. And here, this is the end part where you're running to the final boss with your characters. So again, doesn't look like a new area. Looks like the same areas that we've already seen. By the way, thank you guys, Rashawn and Koa, and everybody who's clicking on that subscribe button. This is what I noticed in this screenshot. This is what stood out to me. A little, like, light thing there. And it made me think about the extreme battle mode in the original game. That was one of the original DLC, or not DLC, original bonus games from Resident Evil 2. Where you go around and you look to find 4 bombs to disarm. And I was thinking, ooh, maybe in this guy's thing, he disarms bombs. And maybe in the girl's game, she just escapes. And maybe in Kendo's game, he finds weapons. I'm trying to think, are there going to be different stories for each person, or are they all going to have the same gameplay? But that little light over there made me think that maybe he was planting bombs or finding bombs or something like that. And there's just that close-up on there. The other question we have to have, like I told you guys, the rumor is they're going to be doing 3 different volumes of this. So maybe 3 different releases of 3 different characters. So what characters do you want to see in the game? You can think outside the box. As we've shown you, these are 3 characters who died in the game. So you're thinking that it's going to be characters that actually died in the game. Although people on Twitter had said things like Brad, the zombie Brad, that would, or Brad Vickers would be a cool character, and some other people had other ideas like that, the helicopter pilot. So let's just take a look at a couple characters from the game and kind of think about what if they were our next set of people. And in order to do that, I press forward. We got Marvin, of course. I mean, I think this has to be one of the characters that comes back if they do more than 3. It's just, I mean, how can you not have Marvin? The first couple are easy. I mean, they've got to have Marvin. Ben, that's an easy one. I mean, his head was crushed, but then let's say he wasn't, and he wakes up in his cell, and he's got to escape the jail. That would be cool because it would take place in that jail area. So that's would be a highly likely one there. Irons, of course. Irons was chopped in half. What if he wasn't? A little issue with the Irons thing is that if he wasn't chopped in half, like, he's a bad guy. These other guys are good guys, and he's a bad guy. So are they going to do it with a bad guy? Maybe. I guess the Umbrella Soldier is kind of a bad guy, but that's actually a question we've been debating on this channel. Are all stormtroopers villains? Question. So are all Umbrella Soldiers bad guys, or are they just doing their job? You can also see people have modded the game to where they can play as Irons and these other characters, so I think the models might either be already in the game for these things or something like that. Annette has died. Ooh, Grim has a good one. Dr. Lee, that's actually a good one. I forgot about Dr. Lee. We've got Annette. She was killed by, I can't even remember, Birkin somehow killed his wife, or yeah. We've got Emma, and this was the other thought I had about Kendo's game. I don't think it's true because of the screenshots we saw, but Kendo's game could be he's protecting his daughter because maybe they both survived. But I'm pretty sure it's going to take place after. You know what? Maybe Kendo's game is find the antidote to turn her into not a zombie. Something like that. Again, the games are fake stories, so they can make up whatever they want. So it could be something like that. Nate says Mr. X should be Ghost Survivor. I don't know if he was a dead person or not. I mean, he was killed, but was he a he? And then thinking just way outside the box, like you guys said, Cartwright, Dr. Lee. We've got this weird-looking sheriff dude in the beginning. Somebody also mentioned outside of this area, there's another sheriff on the ground, or a police officer pointing. Or no, gas station. It's the gas station employee. I think you can see his name tag. Somebody mentioned a name. By the way, big shout out to Anthony for the $2 super chat. Says, bring back Elliot. I'm going to make that pop on the screen again so I can move it. I didn't realize my head was blocking it the whole time. So, bam. Now my head's not blocking it. Javier said, did Kendo really die? You only hear one gunshot. I think this confirms that he died, actually. But we're thinking that he shot himself so that his daughter could eat him. I mean, that's what I think. I don't know if you think that. Earl says they're just following orders. I mean, don't you think like the Nazis were, some of them were just following orders too? Aren't they not bad guys? Menace also thinks Kendo doesn't die in the remake. I'm pretty sure he dies in the remake. I'm pretty sure he shot himself and not his daughter. But maybe. I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing just like you guys. This guy, he's one of my favorites. He doesn't say his classic line, why'd he bite me? Or why'd she bite me? Because he gets bit by a lady. But this guy, I've watched this guy more than anybody else because I've been trying to figure out how to play the game on a PC. So I've watched the opening cutscene roughly 100 times to try to get the graphics right and stuff. So this guy's cool. I don't think they'd make a game about him or anything. He didn't really have a personality too much. But he was so funny. He's like, sounds like my wife. Birkin. This is another one like Irons where it's kind of a villain character. He's already been a boss. I doubt they would actually use him, but he is a character that exists. So we've added him to the thing. And then, yeah, a lot of people have been typing this. Elliot Edwards. That's right. I added a slide for him. So Elliot gets chopped in half in the beginning. What if he never gets chopped in half? Little issue I have with that is if they pick up from that situation, Leon finds him and saves him, and then it's over. And let's get some hearts in the chat for Mason, who just became a member. And if you guys are in the Zom Squad, make sure you show those new emojis to Mason so he knows how to use them. And by the way, if you're part of the Zom Squad, you get to join our Discord. It's a small, well, we've got 50-something members now, but the Discord's maybe like 30 people. It's really cool. you guys can help me come up with the ideas for these slides and stuff. Although we didn't do that today because this was kind of a... It took a long time to do this.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
So let's keep the discussion up about Ghost Survivor here. What else do you guys want to know before we move on to the next DLC? And welcome Matthew and Zeke Snake and Exotic and Toby and Grand and Miguel and Ket and Rashawn and Koa. Thank you guys for subscribing. Do I see the possibility of an Outbreak DLC? I do not. One of the characters I was gonna put on here when I thought about doing the different ones was Rita Phillips, who was in the game via name tag and note or file. You read a file, it says Rita tried to escape through the fountain or whatever. So I thought, ooh, what if they put her in the game? That would be an Easter egg from Outbreak. But I don't think they'll do anything having to do with Outbreak, like adding a Kevin or something like that. But you never know.
To the family,
There's, like I said, there's enough dead characters in the game itself to not bring them in from the outside. And then, like, characters like Barry or Wesker or Chris, I don't think so because they didn't die in the game. Now, we'll talk about this in a minute, but other DLC possibilities would be extreme. People are modding Chris into the game, and people are thinking, ooh, maybe you can be Chris in the game somehow. That would be a different DLC, I would think. The dude who set up the C4 on the 3rd floor. Oh, you've also got... that's a good one, Grim. You've also got the guy who died, the kleptomaniac, the guy who stole things. We pull out... The diamond key is in his hand. He has a name in it. I can't remember his name. Deadman said Chris is in Europe. Yeah, but the DLC is just fake games. There's rumors that Ethan and Chris are going to be a character in some future DLC. And again, we're going to talk more of the story. Like, this is just kind of to talk about the Ghost Survivors. But there's so much to unpack in this game with the storyline and things that changed. I don't know if you guys realize this, but when you start the game with Leon and Claire, each one, go straight to your menu screen when you can and go to the files section, and there's already one file in your notes. And for Claire, it's a file from her best friend's like, I can't believe you're riding your motorcycle across the country. So the note takes place before you do the intro and she's on the phone call. And then Leon's note is something like, you know, don't show up to the RPD until later, or wait for your orders or something like that. So those are two notes that are important to the initial storyline, kind of giving us the intro to the game that's not in the intro. It's like pre-intro. And most people didn't read it because I didn't read it. And there's a trophy for finding all the notes and files. And those were the last two, basically, that I got because I didn't know you actually have to go into your files before the game starts and click on these files to even make them count. Like, you can't just scroll past them. You got to click X or read or whatever if you want to get that trophy, if you guys haven't gotten that trophy yet. But we'll talk, and I know I just talked about it now, but we'll talk about all sorts of stuff like that and the story inconsistencies and, you know, what's the difference between the old Resident Evil and the new one. If you guys follow this channel this week, instead of playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, like I showed you guys in the beginning, I've beaten it like 16 times. I've played it for like 100 hours. I can't do it. So we're going to go back to Resident Evil 2, the original, this week, and we're going to just go through the game, Leon, Claire, dissect it, compare it, and then next episode of Theory Chat, we'll do a whole comparison for an hour on the differences between the old one, the new one, how the storyline changes and stuff like that. And this show is an hour long, so we'll be closing up here soon. And after the show's over, we actually just stay online and just chat for a few more minutes, and it gets cut out of the replay. If you guys missed the episode, you can check the replay. Here's one more DLC coming out on Friday, and that is these old, thick polygon characters, Leon and Claire. And let's get some hearts in the chat for Axon with the $5 super chat. I bet that's the one file I missed. Thanks, B. Okay, so the other two files, there's 4 notes. We'll talk about that later. The ones that are the easiest to miss. And So yeah, these character models, which is incredible. And let's take a look. These are already out in Japan, so basically the idea is Claire, Leon are these things, and let's see. Actually, I realized I didn't put any sound on this, so we can just have it up here on the side there. But look how cool that is. It's the actual graphics of the game, and then they've done these really great looking 3D versions of the original with all the, you know, imagine you took a sheet of paper and you cut out shapes and then you created a Leon. That's kind of what the old school pixelation costumes look like. Yeah, Chris, we know it's coming out February 15th. It's already out in Japan, and it'll be released on Feb 15. That was confirmed by Capcom 1,000 times. And what we're going to do when that comes out is we're going to play the game with the old soundtrack from Deluxe Edition, and it's going to be a great combination there. I don't know if you guys are into the Deluxe Edition soundtrack. I like the new soundtrack because I don't need to hear music at all times. And there's some bad memories of as a kid in Resident Evil 2 where you're just hear that save room music over and over because you're stuck and you're backtracking and you're backtracking. It's got nostalgia good inside, but it also has bad. So I play most of the time with the new soundtrack, and by the way, the end songs on the new soundtrack are amazing. Like that song where you're running to the final boss. Oh my gosh, that's really good. Really, really good. So. Anyway, so you can see all this is the same. Now, here's the thing that happens with this DLC or whatever. Again, it might just be an update. It's free for all. You don't have to have Deluxe Edition, so it's going to be added there. And Ada and Sherry, if you guys played the alternate costumes, Ada and Sherry have alternate costumes on. And we actually did the clip earlier with the girl with Sherry. Alternate costume. They are not going to be these things. They're going to be the actual new models. So only Leon and Claire. No zombies, no bosses, none of that. And we already know that because we watched people in Japan. I watched people in Japan play this version. And the only pixel characters are Leon and Claire. Georgie says, how long will the Ghost Survivor episodes be? That's a good question. I'm hoping they would be more than like 10 minutes each. And like we talked about, there's talk of a lot of replayability. So, the other thing we didn't talk about is there's going to be Mr. Raccoon in it. You're going to have to find all the raccoons in the stories. So that might be an added thing. You might be able to buy guns and different stuff like that. So what other DLC do you think they could add? Like I said, there's rumors of extreme battle mode because of people searching the files for Chris files or something. Will they even do more DLC? Like I said, the Ghost Survivors might be 3 volumes, so there might be one in February, one in March, one in April. Will they add more DLC, or will they focus their resources on Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 8? We did videos on... We were hoping they would do an Ada Wong special story, and once we saw she uses that stupid little thing, we lost some interest in that. But yeah, the Ada Wong thing would be cool. And we talked about a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis mode, where Nemesis is chasing you around, but now we're thinking there's probably going to be a Resident Evil 3 remake, and like I said, it's going to be more of a Resident Evil 2 Part 2, even though it takes place before and after, than a Resident Evil 3 remake. That's the mindset I think they're going to go with. Giovanni says a Brad Vickers side story. That would be cool, but that might be something more for Resident Evil 3. People are saying mercenaries and raid mode. I think they didn't want to put those into this game. They kept telling us it's not in the game, although they also told us there was no scenarios in the game. I understand that there's 2 different teams on 2 different games. However, some people work on one and then they switch over to the other, and they will change the percentage of resources dedicated to each one at certain times. Stuff like that will happen. Maybe the pilot is the mystery character. The pilot of the helicopter? I think the pilot of the helicopter there were 2 people in the helicopter, right? Aren't those 2 fire zombies in the beginning? Aren't those the pilot and the co-pilot? I haven't really paid too much attention because so after the first week where we play, or the first couple days where we beat Scenario 1, Scenario 2, Claire 1, Claire 2, it started to become a speedrunning game because all of the unlockables are based on speedrunning. And it's really annoying. So a lot of people have an issue with it because they don't want to do a speedrun. They want to play the game and unlock it some other way. And everything is tied into time. So we actually stopped exploring in the beginning and we just started. Now I could beat the game in easily in 2 hours without dying, without saving, whatever. But I'm missing so much of the story, so we're going to have to go back in and rid our minds of this speedrunning mentality that the game programmed into us to make us unlock the special weapons. By the way, if you haven't unlocked them, you can check out how to do that on videos on the channel, but again, just like the first-person mod, these things are fun for like 5 minutes, and then you're like, all right. So I wouldn't worry too much if you can't unlock them. It's not super exciting. It's fun, like I said, to shoot the minigun and the rocket to see what the zombies do because they go flying, but it's not essential to your life. And we'll be playing Ghost Survivor starting on Friday night, maybe in the middle of the night if it comes out. We'll be playing that all week. This week we'll be playing Resident Evil 2, the original, and maybe next Sunday we'll do another episode of this show. If you guys like the show, we've had around 500 people in here most of the time, so that's a pretty good crowd to watch this 1 hour special. And yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Ghost Survivors and everything. If you guys have any questions or whatever, you can always reach me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Where's Barry B? And this was our first episode in a little while, and typically we'll show you guys on the screen as well in the chat. I got a little distracted today because it's a new episode, and we're not in the swing of things, but we'll feature you guys more in the chat. Whoa. And remember to answer all the questions on Twitter and stuff if you want to get your tweets featured on the show as well, because we will definitely do that. Yeah, so if anybody has any more questions, we will actually play the end theme song, and then we'll come back live, and we'll talk about your other questions, but you can leave them in the comments. This video will be on the air tonight in 2 hours after it ends, because YouTube takes a while to do it, so you can always watch the replays of these shows. You can always go to where'sbarry.com and see the playlists. That's where all of our old live streams will be. We will be playing all week. I don't have a specific streaming schedule. If you guys are new, we just kind of play when I am available, but we've been playing like almost every day. So yeah, follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Click that subscribe button, click that thumbs up. We hit 200 likes, guys. You guys are amazing. Keep commenting on the videos, keep giving me your theories so we can come up with new ideas for videos and stuff like that. Thank you for joining me tonight from the RPD.
Family, son.
Thank you to all the people who subscribed. Wesley, Stephen Gaming, Matthew Mason. Thank you to the donations from Axon and Anthony. And yes, we'll talk to you guys after the theme song. Catch you later, evil dudes. If you stick around for the after party, we will have some fun there. And bye, Amanda.
Go tell that Rudy. Go tell that Rudy. Go tell that Rudy. That her old gray goose is dead.
Welcome to the family, son. Come join the Crimson Army where the residents of Evil Now. We won't harm you. You'll get videos of theories and let's plays. Where's Barry got something to say? Here's Barry, he'll play all day. He's never really crunched for time. A Jill sandwich comes to mind, but that's just one of those lines you'll find in the comments. heart of gold. Keep it account, number of deaths, a higher amount. Will barely live, come by now. On the next sweet stream, we'll figure it out. If the arms together, whether Jack is a dull boy or he wants to play, the arms are here to stay. Even if number 7 gets delayed or data mine, no spoilers will make a change. Cause in our mind, Wes Berry's king. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And by Amanda, you're out of time. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And by Amanda, you're out of time. Like, oh my god. By Amanda, you're out of time.